Hi, good morning. If you have read the title, you know that I'm going to be talking about three ghost stories. It is not exactly ghost stories, like three. It has happened three times when I used to stay in this certain apartment where I've felt that something is wrong, where I've heard things, where I have not seen something, so I can't say anything about that. But yeah, I've definitely heard things. So it's all about my ears, honestly. And it's not just me who have heard things, it's like other people have also heard things which were quite unusual. So let's just jump into it. So this happened when I used to stay alone at a 1 BHK apartment. And there I had this ritual that I would talk to my best friend, like starting from 3 a.m. in the night, or sometimes starting from basically the entire night. We used to be on call and we used to sing songs. That was sort of a ritual thing of us. And like we'd do this almost every day. And this particular night when I was doing this, let me explain you the layout of the house. So basically, this is a 1 BHK apartment or flat, whatever you like to call it. And it has a front yard, which is a very small space for like parking bikes and stuff. And then there is like the living room, then there's the bedroom, and then after that, there's the kitchen. Now, the bathroom was actually attached to the living area. So it was around 2 a.m. in the night when I was on call with my best friend. And we used to sing songs. And the living area was like a bit larger for somebody who lives alone. So I used to basically walk around the entire room in circles while talking because I cannot stand still when I'm having a really spicy conversation. So this particular night, I was on a call with her, and I usually used to keep my phone on speaker because there is nobody around. And the area that I used to live in, it was very sort of in the outskirts. So there was a national highway just in front of like the property I used to live in, but it's like barely any people, and people used to sleep like around 9. I would say 9 p.m. was like the max that you would see people out, and like after 9 p.m., it's all like dark, and nobody is there even out of the house. In the house, lights are off, and the whole area is like very silent. Now, it was around 2 a.m. in the night, and I am again singing songs with her and like walking, around the entire living area. And I like she's on speaker, and then I heard a knock on the door. Now the door is a metal door, and it was probably summer or winter. I don't exactly remember the season, but there was no way that like a metal door would be having any effect on it by wind, because there was no wind. Of course, I do remember this very specifically. uh, so I heard a knock on the door. It was a very clear knock, as if someone knocked it with the with their hand. And I stopped for a while, and then I asked my roommate, like, sorry, not my roommate, my best friend, which when she was on call, and then I asked her that, did you hear that? And she said that no, she did not. And now it happens for the second time, and then I heard a knock again. And now this time the knock was louder and clear. And the scariest part was that I was in the same living room, and the main door was right there, like just to the left side of mine where I was standing. I was standing right in front of the window, and the main door was just to the left of me. And then I looked at it, and then there was a small gap, like it was a double sided door. So when a double sided door and like it closes, and it was a metal door, so there was a really like a thin gap where you could see outside. And then I peeped through it. I was scared as shit, honestly, because like, what if I see somebody standing there? That's gonna be scary, and I might just die out of a heart attack. But when I saw outside, there was nobody. Like there was nobody. It's all empty. All I can see is like the main gate to the entrance to the property. And I always used to lock the main gate with a lock, because I had strict instructions from people living around, or like my parents, that yeah, like do lock it so that nobody can trespass. And I used to do it every night, and I had done that night as well. So that was the thing. I heard two knocks or two or three. Honestly, I can't exactly recall it right now, but it was very loud and clear. And even my best friend, when the knock was the second knock like came in, she heard it. And then that's the time I figured out that I'm not hallucinating. It actually happened. Now, the second story happened around when I was again on a call with her. Maybe she is I don't know, maybe is she cursed? I don't know, but yeah. So because it usually happened when I am in a call with her. So in the second story, uh, it was that again we were on a call, same exact things that were happening in the first story. I'm like, we are on a call, we are maybe singing songs, and I'm running around the living area, and I hear something falling. Like there was a coconut tree just in front of where I used to live in. Not just one, I think there were like three, four coconut trees which the neighbors have planted. The neighbors were the original landlords of the property, like where I was living. So I heard like I heard something with a bang, like falling on the ground, and it was very clear that something is falling on the ground. Uh, and and it happened for the first three times, and my best friend heard it. Like even I heard it, the person, like she on the call, she heard it, and it was very clear, and we were convinced that like something is falling. It is a noise of something. uh Basically, it's like uh, noise of a stamp, like somebody is like doing, like when you put your hands on the table, like you want to slam it, it makes a noise. So it was like that sort of noise. And I was not convinced what's happening. I thought maybe it's coconuts, but it could not be coconuts, because again, why would coconuts fall like 3 a.m. in the night? And I remember, I don't think coconuts fall that easily, because first of all there was no wind, and coconuts falling one by one, at least like four, five coconuts falling on their own is a bit suspicious. Because I mean, it is honestly it is really suspicious. If you have ever seen a coconut tree, which I assume that all of you have seen, it is very weird for coconuts to fall on their own, because they're very heavy and they're very uh they're fixed there, and they have been made certain way. Honestly, they can't just fall like that. But anyways, the third, actually, oh, okay, change in plan. There are four stories maybe. So in the third story, it was that my aunt was staying over at my place, and it was around 3 a.m. Again, I don't know why I always am awake, or I get up at 3 a.m. So I got up around 3 a.m. and I went to the living room, and I heard this noise, and this noise was basically like somebody doing this two metal objects, like rubbing two metal objects together. It sounds so wrong. But it was something like welding, like if you take one iron rod and you rub it against another iron rod, it'll make this rust rustling sort of noise, which is very annoying to hear, because it will make your teeth clench sort of, and it's like just very weird noise. And I heard that sort of noise coming from the outside, but I was like, at 3 a.m., who the fuck is doing construction work? Because it was very audibly, very comprehensively, something related to construction. Like I could hear that. And so, me being me, I actually stepped out of my house. I stepped out, I went to the front yard, and I checked around, and there was nobody. Not, at least in, uh, like, as far as I could see, there was nobody, is what I'm trying to say. So, again, that was one thing. And the fourth one is, I think, the most uh, close that I have heard something. And it is like, when I talk about it, it does not give me chills, but honestly, yeah. So I was, again, now I'm in the bedroom, I'm laying in the bedroom, and I'm facing the ceiling, and I'm on a call. But I don't know why I'm always on calls. I think this is the just way I am, but yeah, I'm on a call with a friend of mine, and the phone is again on speaker, and we are discussing something. I don't know, maybe it was something about my personal life. I mean, I'm always going through shit. So, uh, and now I'm looking at the ceiling, and then suddenly I start hearing these noises of somebody walking upstairs. Now, just so that I don't sound like I'm a stupid person, because there could be somebody living just in the floor above mine. No, the floor was completed. The neighbors, I think somebody had shifted there, but that particular night nobody was living there, and they had locked their door. Like the main door of their house, like the flat just above mine, was locked. And I know this because I remember that I did lock the main gate. So the thing was that if the neighbors are yet to come, or if the neighbors get late, like if it's 12 a.m., or if it's 11:30, 10:30, if it's past 10:30, that I know that they're not gonna come. So it was like they, if they have to come, they will be coming around like under 10:30, and if they aren't yet home under 10:30, or like until 10:30, then that means they won't be coming. anymore. So I would lock the main gate. And that night I locked the main gate because, and I saw that, their main door is locked, like the entrance to their house. And I go inside, and I remember, like, now when I'm laying on my bed and I'm staring at the ceiling and I can hear these footsteps there, I remember that I had just locked the main gate and have seen that the door is locked, and there is no fucking way that there is somebody in their room, at least some human. So I can hear somebody walking around, I can hear somebody running, and it was basically like somebody was in a hurry and they were like running, because I mean, I can make it up from like the footsteps, like from the intensity of the footsteps and the frequency of them. And it sounded like somebody is pushing the furniture. Now, okay, fine. Even if I do assume that somebody would have, maybe the neighbors would have seen that the main gate is locked, they would have sort of climbed up the wall, and they entered, like, the property, and they went with the stairs, they went to their main door, opened it, and then went outside, and then went inside. It does not make zero sense that at like around 2 a.m. in the night they will be pushing their furniture. Like, for what reason they would do that? And now, the friend that I was in a call with, he asked me, like, because he could hear the voices were that loud that the person who was in a call could hear it. And then then he asked me, like, bro, are you not scared? And I was like, no. This has become it had become so, like, normal for me by that time, that I would be hearing noises about, like, all of this walking and shit, that I would not even react, because it was like, yeah, whatever's happening is happening. uh you know some, not exactly where I stay, it's happening like above. Yeah, it's still not exactly comforting, but I mean, a little bit comforting to me that it's not exactly in my vicinity, sort of. And so after the next morning I woke up, the main door of the neighbors was still locked, actually. So that means there was nobody up in their house, and I could still hear somebody walking. And it is very unusual to actually hear people walking, because the ceiling must have been quite thick, honestly. And even when I remember, even when they used to stay there, and during the time I am in the home and they're also there, and even if they would walk, because it was sort of a duplex, and even if they would walk, I never heard any footsteps. But that particular night, it was so fucking audible that I could literally feel that somebody is right on top of me, like, up in the above floor, and like walking very heavily, like stomping. Yeah, that's some crazy shit that happened, honestly. This is a 12-minute thing. But yeah, I hope if you are listening to this in the night, you have great sleep or have uh, nightmares, I guess. And if you also have heard working noises from the ceiling above you, I guess you should tell that to me in the comment section. Thank you for listening. Bye.